Partners interview, where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Sean Pickard, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Sara Wardell, the Program Manager and the Community Services Manager of the CICE program at Conestoga College. The CICE program, also known as the Community Integration Through Cooperative Education, is a 2-year program designed to provide individuals with exceptionalities and other significant learning challenges the opportunity to experience college life and enhance their academic and vocational skills with modified programming and support from learning strategists. The program includes a number of core courses common to all CICE students in topics such as human relations and communications, job skills, life skills, computer skills, and health and wellness. Thank you for joining us today, Sara. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, it's good to have you here. And it's obviously, something that we need to talk a little bit more about what's going on with our college programs and things like that. So let's get into things here and tell us about the Sara Wardell experience. How did you get to Conestoga College and why the CICE program?
So, to start, I didn't always work at the college, obviously, but I've been at the college for 3.5 years now. And that was after about doing 20 years of community-based work at various organizations. And in a lot of my work, I was supporting people or supporting teams who were supporting people who were living independently in the community. At one point in time, I was working with a program that was helping young people who were transitioning from high school into adulthood. And I found out about the CICE programs probably 15 years ago when they first started to appear in the province. And I was always interested in working in one because they just fulfill such a unique need for some people with disabilities. So just that opportunity for people to be able to experience the college life, as well as get all of the supports that college students get, particularly in terms of not just personal growth, but also access to things like field placement, which really helps increase people's work skills as well as their opportunities for jobs in the future. And just as soon as I heard about them, I was just so excited because I thought, wow, these programs, they can really make a difference in people's lives. And, one day I'd love to be a part of them. And then flash forward to 2021, I found myself as a manager of the CICE program at Conestoga.
That is an awesome little story there, Sara. A lot of little bends and twists, but it's nice when you come across someone who kind of finds that path that says, I want to work with people. So thank you for what you do, Sara. I'm sure there's a lot going on a daily basis, especially with the number of things like the human relations or job skills, computer skills. There's just so much going on. Can you tell us a little bit more about the CICE program and what a structured day-to-day might look like?
Yes. So it is a very busy program. It is, I would say, busier than other college programs for a few reasons. Our students in the CICE program, they go out on field placement every single semester. So instead of a day-to-day, it's easier, I think, to think about it as a week-to-week. So, in a given week, we have, students are going to be out on field placement with a community partner, learning some job skills 2 days a week. And the other 3 days, they are going to be on campus. And on-campus time consists of going to classes, of course, because it's a college program. So we have classes that CICE students take together, as well as CICE students take classes within other programs at the college. So students might take a business class or a class in early childhood education or a class within creative industries. And beyond classes, they also have what we call academic support time. And this is time built into CICE student schedules so that they have an opportunity to work with a learning strategist in a small group to work on their assignments, to develop some more academic skills, to develop some strategies that will really work for them in order to meet the academic portion of the program, but also some of those things do translate into the workforce as well, of understanding how to make yourself a checklist, understanding if a checklist is a strategy that works for you in order to get all your tasks done in a day. So all of those kind of pieces. So it is quite a busy program. Our students are on campus, I would say, at least 8 hours on the days that they are on campus, and then out at field placement the other 2 days. So it's a combination of field placement in class, as well as working with learning strategists on the academic skills.
That is incredible. But I think we should do a little bit of definition here, Sara.
Of course.
What exactly is a learning strategist?
So a learning strategist is a team member of the CICE program, and their role is to work with the CICE students in classes. So they would attend the classes with students. They would, say, take notes, help support any in-class activities that are happening, as there are lots of in-class hands-on in-class activities that happen at the college level. And they also work with the teachers of classes to help make sure that the assignments that the CICE students have meet the needs of the CICE students. So they will work with the faculty to modify assignments so that the students are working on some of the expectations of the course, but they're doing so in a way that makes the most sense for them. So that could mean, maybe instead of reading an article, a student is, say, watching a video clip instead, so that they're getting the same information that they'll get in the article, but they're just doing it in a way that is more accessible for them.
That is awesome. I didn't know that a learning strategist, A, was a position, or B, that they were taking that active a role in colleges currently. So that is, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. And let's move on to creative industries. I heard that. What exactly is creative industries, Sara?
So the college is split up into different schools. So we have community services, we have business, we have engineering, computer science. One of them is creative industries. And in creative industries, we have programs like the Media Foundations program, interior design, visual merchandising. So some of our students, we usually have a group of students taking courses in the Media Foundations program. So they're working on things like photography, video editing, sound, presentation skills in the TV studio. Or we might have students who are doing other courses in creative industries, and they are doing more art-based classes with, say, learning how to identify different styles of design or drawing and having an opportunity to practice some of those.
We might need to have a conversation here later, Sara, about having the station work with you on some of those features. If you do sound, we might have to partner up here for some of this stuff.
Always looking to collaborate with people.
Oh, this could be good. But let's get back to the point here. When it comes to the CICE program, if someone coming out of high school, they're just about to join the program, are there any restrictions? Age, caregivers, or family members can't be a part of it, things of that nature.
So in terms of age, it is a college program. So, 18 years or older and up, that's great. This year we actually had someone apply who is 65. So we're excited about that possibility to have some mature students in the room. So age, there is no restriction. And in terms of like family or caregiver involvements, we work foremost with the students as it is adult learning. There are times when someone might want someone involved in a conversation, and they might want information shared with someone, but it is at the direction of the students, as all of our students are adults.
Excellent. So let's take a quick moment here, Sara, because I think we need to go in two different directions with this next question. Because you mentioned you're going to have possibly have a 65-year-old in the program, and normally it's people coming out of high school. So how does someone apply for the program? I'm sure someone in high school would still have the guidance counselor there. Let's talk about them. But how would someone who's 65 also join the program? Let's start with the high school version.
So the process is actually the same for both. So CICE students do apply for the program just like every other college program in the province. So there is one central place called Ontario Colleges, and everyone applies to that one central place, and then each individual college gets applications. So for the CICE program, because we are not looking at people's grades as an entry requirement, we have to go about things a little bit differently. So in other programs, if you have 50 spots, the programs take, the top 50 students with the highest grades. In CICE, it doesn't work like that, just because our students have had often a different high school experience than some other students. And there's lots of other various factors. So instead of looking at students' marks, what happens for a CICE applicant is that they participate in an interview. So the interviews for CICE, it's our opportunity to get to know the student, to find out what past experiences they already have, to find out what their goals are and what they're interested in and why they want to be a part of the CICE program. And we do that verbally. So people will sit down with me, we have a conversation just to find out more about them and their interests, as well as we have an opportunity for the students to do the interview through a written format as well. Because for some students, that is a preferred way to communicate. So we do give the opportunity for both, for all candidates. So everyone has that chance to really demonstrate their interest in the CICE program and why they want to be a part of it.
That is excellent stuff. I mean, there's a lot going on there, Sarah. I mean, an interview or essay type scenario. So
I wouldn't say it an essay, and definitely not an essay style.
No?
No. It's very similar. It's just questions, short answers. Tell us about your hobbies, or did you do any co-ops in high school, or have you done any volunteering? Just very short answers, just as an opportunity for students to kind of let us know a little bit more about themselves.
So you can do a point form kind of thing for your answers.
Absolutely.
Oh, I feel much better about this now. It feels much more, feels much easier to me now.
An essay would definitely not be very accessible for people to have to do. So it is definitely not set up like that.
Excellent. Now, when it comes to assigning supports, right? Someone's applied, they've been accepted to the program, they're moving through the process, starting everything up. How do you determine what supports or resources that individual gets?
So that depends on each individual. Every individual is going to be assigned to a learning strategist. That is just standard across the board. And above and beyond, it's going to depend on what works best for the individual. Some people have, people are coming as adults. They've been through school. They have a good sense of what might work for them and what might not work. So we like to use some, past history of, what has helped you in the past to determine, what we're going to do at the college. We do a lot of kind of blanket supports right off the top. So doing academic support, doing one-on-one check-ins at intervals to make sure things are working well. When it comes to the assignments, it's going to be based on, again, each student. 4 students might be doing the assignment, and it might be 4 different versions of the assignment based on what makes sense for each student. Above and beyond that, there are times when students need additional supports for accessibility. And at that time, we will work with our accessibility services to provide those additional supports. So, for example, if a student has vision loss and they require some specialized technology, we are going to help the student access that through accessible services. So we do a lot of the supports in-house, but when needed for additional specialized supports above and beyond, we also will connect with our accessibility services at the college.
Now, let's look at this a slightly different way. You get some supports put in place, and you've possibly got a student sitting here going, I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try it, and things aren't working out for them. What's the process? How do they bring someone in to say, we need to go over this again?
Yeah, so because the students are working with a learning strategist throughout the semester, there's a high level of contact, and we know when something's generally not working. Students are always able to approach us, and then we might also notice, like, hey, we've tried this, it didn't seem to work out well. Let's try a new strategy. It's always flexible and ongoing. And then we also see, at the end of the 2 years, as students are almost done the program, we might see that students have developed some great skills, and maybe they actually need supports differently because they're, they've developed some different strategies to help, say, keep themselves organized. So they don't need the learning strategist to help support with that anymore. So they can take over that piece themselves. So it's not standard supports, when you start on the first day of school in September, and they're going to be exactly the same until you graduate 2 years from that point. They're fluid. It's going to change over time based on what's happening. And sometimes too, maybe someone has a health condition, or maybe something's going on for mental health, and they need supports done differently for a period of time. And we can work with that as well.
So when it comes to the actual programs themselves, whether it's computer skills, job skills, any of the programs that you have, is it a set curriculum, or it sounds very fluid from what I'm hearing?
So there is it's like, yes, it's set, and yes, it's fluid. So the classes that CICE students take all together, those are the ones that are going to say focus on job skills, computer skills, health and wellness, communication skills. Those ones, there is a set curriculum. It is set content that happens with the students year after year. And then when it comes to the courses that they're taking outside in the college, they're called areas of specialization courses. And for those ones, not all 20 students are going to take the same courses. There's going to be, say, 5 courses that the 20 students take. So, 4 of them will take a course together. So that's kind of how it works. But there's always adaptability and flexibility for different things that are going on for students. So, something like computer skills, for example, some people are fantastic with computers and have all kinds of great skills. We might give them something additional to do in class if they want to, say, work on a different skill set that is going to challenge them a little bit more than what's happening in class. And then other students maybe don't have as high of computer skills, so maybe we need to adjust that to make sure that it's really targeting the skills that they need to develop. That might not be the ones that are in the assignment, say.
So it can be a very, very tailored program while everyone gets the same experience then.
That's what we try to do.
Now for the really difficult part of this here little interview, Sarah. Without naming names, can you share a success story with me? What supports were put in place when someone asked for help with the CICE program?
Oh gosh. So success, like not a graduate to success, but a success within our program.
Either the most touching one you can come up with, or the one that stuck with you the most. Let's put it that way.
Well, for our graduates, I mean, there's so many different success of students, say getting jobs or getting these really neat niche jobs that are really meeting their career goals. We've had students who have met in the CICE program and become couples and are now living together. I believe one couple actually got married at one point. So, I mean, there's some great graduate success stories out there. Or people starting their own families. And then within the CICE program, it is so interesting. Every single year, we see the students who come in who are in year 1, and just by the time that they get to the end of year 2, it's just such an amazing change for so many students where, we think of like, oh my gosh, remember when we had to help this person prioritize their whole week about what they needed to do. And suddenly, the student is able to do that prioritizing themselves. Or we have students who maybe are starting with their assignments being modified in their first semester. And by the time we get to the last semester, the students are trying the work unmodified. So they still have the support of the learning strategist, but they're doing the exact same assignment as the other students in their area specialization class. So that's always nice to see. And I know, for example, we do see some great things like last year at graduation, we saw one of our CICE students walk across the stage, and they had already graduated the CICE program years ago, but then they finished their diploma in recreation and leisure. So, seeing a CICE student meet that big goal of getting a college diploma was just, a great thing to see.
That's awesome. Going back and getting the full college diploma, that is incredible. Now, if there was one thing that everybody needed to know about the CICE program, what's that one thing?
Ooh, the one thing to know about CICE. That's a tough question. The one thing to know about CICE is it is an absolutely fantastic program, and the learning that happens in the CICE program will go far and above what you learn in class or what you learn in field placement, and it will really impact all areas of your life.
So the CICE program goes way beyond what anyone thinks. That's very good to know. Very good to know. And now we're coming up to my favorite question here, Sara. What is the one thing you see happening over and over again to individuals with disabilities that shouldn't be, and how do we stop it?
Oh, we need a whole other interview for that. Yeah, that's a tough one. Honestly, I would say one of the biggest things, there's so many. There's housing, there's finances, there's all kinds of stuff. But I really think it's acceptance in the community, as really understanding that people with disabilities are our neighbors, they are our coworkers, they are our friends, they are our peers. And that's the biggest thing that I think that we need to really get over in our communities, of really understanding people with disabilities are part of our community and are people that need to be involved in community and participate and have citizenship, just like everyone else, without any of the barriers that unfortunately get put upon people all the time.
Yes, there are a lot of barriers out there, and we've had a great interview so far here, Sara. But one thing that's missing, if folks are looking to get a hold of you, if they need more information about the CICE program, in particular at Conestoga, how do they get a hold of you? How do they reach out?
Yeah, the best way to reach out to us is through email at cice@conestogac.on.ca. And also you can find our webpage through Google, and you can connect with us through there as well.
Now, if there's someone who's not in the Conestoga area, or they're looking for another option in their local area, how would they find the CICE program?
The best way to do that would to check your local college's website. There are 14 CICE programs across the province, so we are in most areas. So check your local college's website. As well, you can also check ontariocolleges.ca and look for CICE through that website.
Excellent. It's been wonderful speaking with you, Sara. Unfortunately, we're running out of time for today. If you'd like to say bye to the folks that are listening.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I really appreciate the time to talk about CICE.
And that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sean Pickard. Until next time, bye for now.